My name is Daniel Laffan and I'm a ceramic artist. I'm inspired by nature a lot. I'm inspired by rhythm, I'm inspired by tone. Things that I kind of really appreciate in music actually make their way into pottery, you know. I think of a shape kind of having a legato feel, which means joined together, or a staccato, where you got pointy edges. Even drawing, you know, I suppose when you make a pot, you're really drawing in the air in 3 dimensions, so everything is kind of in there, you know. It's the immediacy, how quick it is. If I make a drawing, some of my drawings can take 3 months, which is a huge amount of time, and it's painstaking work. But pottery, you put a piece of clay in the wheel, and in a matter of moments you have something tangible in front of you. So it's magical how quick it is. There's not many art forms that are that quick. Since childhood, it's really Caravaggio was kind of my favourite artist of them all, you know. The light, the dark, the subject matter, the composition, the way it's rendered, you know. I think he exemplified what art is in a lifetime for me, you know. So he's kind of my big inspiration. And I can't say that Caravaggio has an influence on my pottery, but I suppose his ethos does, you know. So the ethos really has made a mark on me, you know. There's different things you need at different times. When you begin, you need to be free, you need to explore, you know. You're not formed, you're just sussing things out, really, you know. Then when you kind of find a thing that moves you, then something else kind of kicks in, you know, where it's just about discipline then, you know. So you've got inspiration, and inspiration is a gift, you know. So if you are inspired, listen to it, move with it. But on its own, it won't do it. It's just like the heart on its own won't get you there. You've got the heart, you've got the intellect, and they both have a role there. So the inspiration, then the discipline to carry out that inspiration is the next bit. You've only got one thing that's of value, and that's your own mark, you know, your own making. Think of Van Gogh, you know, he didn't learn it through the academic process. He's the most beloved artist in the world simply for following his own sort of call, you know. Django Reinhardt, I could list them off, you know what I mean, they're too numerous. But so follow your own path, be disciplined, and pay attention to inspiration when you get it, you know, it's rare. I suppose my whole journey so far is a story, you know. It's really a story holding multiple stories, you know. From the first conversation I had with Vincent about the idea of getting clay, then that kind of morphed into you know, like a fully fledged idea. And then since then I've just met an incredible collection of people who've helped me kind of realise that. And it's really their stories that the pottery gives a voice to. So the whole thing is a story, is the way I see it, and the pottery is kind of an aftermath of that almost. So the title for the show is Terra Hibernia, which is kind of a play on an ancient Roman technique called Terra Sigillata, which means sealed earth. So it's kind of like an in kind of a thing for potters. When they see the name Terra, they'll instantly think of Terra Sigillata. So it's the earth of Ireland. So the whole idea is just to celebrate this resource that we have, that we walk on, that our sea laps up on, you know, to celebrate that resource and make something beautiful of it. So my process kind of starts with a walk. I go out for a walk, I notice things, and hopefully I find some material. So my first, I suppose it was accidental. I was on a walk out to Shankill and along the cliff, and I noticed just a different colour in the face of the cliff, this grey seam, and it dawned on me then that I was looking actually at the cross section of a river, some ancient river, millennia ago. And so what I was looking was a big U-shape, sort of a crescent in a big cliff wall, and that colour was different. It was grey. The rest of the cliff was brown. So I kind of thought, that's ceramic clay, you know. So the first thing I did was to take a sample of it, brought it back, fired it, seen what colour it was, and then thought, I'll have to go back and get more. And So I did, went back, collected a good bit more of it. Then To process it takes quite a while. So I mix it with boiling water, I whisk it with a drill, and then I put a tiny additive in that actually gives a negative charge to the particles of clay, and that makes it very easy for me to push it through a 100 mesh sieve. A 100 mesh sieve has a square centimetre where there's 100 holes in it. So when I'm pushing clay through there, a grain of sand isn't going to fit, you know. So it's extremely fine, the actual clay body then, you know. So I find the clay, I bring it back, I process it, I wash all the sand out of it. Then I leave it on plaster to dry, it sucks all the moisture out. Then it's ready to go on the wheel. Once I throw a piece, I try and make it fine but not burnished. Then when it's bisque fired, then I do a different process completely, which is more akin to polishing marble. As I said maybe before, that I was very lucky in my early 20s to learn marble polishing as a skill. And so my pots are all polished with wet and dry sandpaper in very increasingly finer grades, till eventually I get a mirror type glass finish on it, you know. So that's the whole journey of a piece, you know. So it starts with a walk and it ends up with something being sanded to within an inch of his life. Yeah, so the geology is the thing that plays the part in what I'm doing, you know. Clay in the south that I've noticed is full of iron, really, really rich iron. That will give you a really deep red, like a dark terracotta, you know. Bray clay, or greystones clay, is kind of like an alluvial deposit. It might not necessarily have iron in it, so it might be a pinker type of a colour, you know. But every area I've been to forage for clay, every piece has been different, you know. Even in the one batch, I'll actually find variation in one batch of clay where there'll be just a concentration of, like I say, iron or alumina or something in a greater degree. So even in one batch, you can get a great variation. And then, of course, there's when they're fired. When I put them in the kiln, in the top part of the kiln, it's a different heat to the bottom, you know. If I have pieces near each other, sometimes the actual scorch will be imparted by a piece that's in proximity, you know. So I might end up with a really nice colour just because a piece has been near each other in the kiln, you know. So they're all different colours and earth tones, varying from pink to sort of deep rust colours. The signal is central for what I'm doing, really. You know, the signal has actually allowed all of this to happen. And at the end of the day, if you're making art, it's about your audience, you know. So signal is a way of stepping out of your kind of solitary pursuit and meeting an audience, you know, meeting fellow creatives. And so the signal has been incredible for my development recently. A mixture of delight, surprise, inspiration, you know. That's what affects me when I see great art, you know. It moves me to make art, you know. So if somebody was moved in a small way, that'd be fantastic. And then the real kind of important thing that I think I'm subconsciously trying to do is to actually make something that's beautiful. You know, I think beauty is life affirming. I think it's really important that we have experiences of beauty. Like most artists, I think the next piece is always the best one, you know. If that wasn't so, then you would stop. You know, you'd reach a point when you were done. There is a promise there, and it's a mystery, and that's what keeps me going, keeps me awake at night. It starts on the 18th, and then the opening is on the 22nd of July, and it'll run for 2 weeks.